Hello. In tonight's video, we're going to talk about how much knowledge is enough. And by that I mean, like, how much knowledge is actually required for you to change your life or for you to make your life better. And I think that knowledge is an amazing thing. I think I'm very grateful that in this day and age we have access to so much knowledge. I mean, if you think about the amount of free books and free courses and like all of the libraries that you could go to and you can like rent out any book, and if they don't have it, they can order it for you. And we have so much knowledge at our fingertips now, and we spend the first 20 something years of our lives in school. So like, obviously knowledge is important. However, I think that you can get to a point where you have all of this theoretical knowledge of the world or of like a certain topic that you're interested in, but you don't have a ton of experience, or you don't know how to use that knowledge to make your life better. Because to me, I think that the highest form of knowledge and the highest form of intelligence is being able to make your dreams come true, is being able to make your wildest dreams come true. And that does require a certain amount of knowledge and a certain amount of skill set, but you get to a point where the knowledge kind of stops being helpful, and accumulating more knowledge, reading more books, looking at more tutorials becomes like not helpful. And so how do you know when you've gotten to that point? How do you know when you've gotten to the point where you can say, okay, I have accumulated enough knowledge on this subject, and now I can go out into the world and I can like start pursuing my desires? And I think that that point is usually like if you know a lot about a subject but you don't know how to use the knowledge that you have and how to put it into practice, and it's all theory, like it's all theories in your head, but you don't know how to put it, like use it in the real world. I think that's really the point where you can say that you've accumulated a lot of knowledge and like now it's time to put it into practice. And there's also a lot of things that like you don't really need to know how it works necessarily for it to work. Like if you look at the process of reality creation or manifestation or whatever you want to call it, you don't necessarily need to know like the ins and outs of like every single detail, and you don't need to like watch 15,000 tutorials and read 15,000 books about it. I think the most amount of knowledge that you can get is like through experience and through trying things yourself, and then telling people, like writing down what happened, or like telling people what happened, what you've observed, what you've learned. And I really do think that in life we are our best teachers, And I think that other people's knowledge and other people's information can help us to a certain extent, but there comes a point in everybody's life where you have to say, like, okay, I've learned a lot from all of these other people and all of these other sources and all of these other teachers. However, I need to now go on my own journey, and I need to learn things on my own, because believe it or not, you already have a lot of like innate knowledge within you, and the stuff that you don't know now will be given to you as you're on the journey, as you start taking steps towards your desires. Like, more information will reach you, and so you don't need to know everything from the beginning, and that's okay, because you'll learn through experience along the way, and through intuition, and through other people, and so on and so forth. And I think that that's a very powerful moment in everybody's lives, but it's also a scary moment where you realize that other people's knowledge and other people's theories cannot really help you, and that you have to kind of go off on your own and become your best teacher and learn through experience. Put your knowledge that you have into action, see what actually works in the real world and what doesn't, and then you can start to construct your own frameworks and your own ideas about life, and you can become your own guru, like become your own teacher. And I think that can feel very isolating at first and very scary, because wouldn't we all love to have somebody by our sides throughout our whole journey that's like right there next to us, and they're feeding us information, and they're telling us exactly what to do, and they're like guiding us through the whole process, and but that's not how life works. And at some point you have to take responsibility for your own life and for your own knowledge, and understand that at the end of the day, you are your best teacher, because a lot of the advice that you're looking for, well, first of all, you're not really looking for, a lot of us are not really looking for advice. We're just looking for permission to begin. And that's also an important part. But a lot of the best advice and the best knowledge out there is has to be highly personalized to you. And in order for it to make sense, it has to be based on context. And for example, if I asked you for financial advice and you didn't know anything about my finances, then the best advice that you can give me is probably something very general, like, I don't know, spend less than you earn, or something like that, because you don't have any context. But if I pulled up my Excel spreadsheet and we went through all of the numbers line by line, month after month, and you had the context, then you could probably give me a lot better financial advice. And so I think that a lot of knowledge has to be based on context, and very broad and very general knowledge is usually not very helpful. And so that's important to know, because nobody has more context on your life than you. And so that means that you are the best decision maker. Like you're in the best position to make the best decisions for you because you have the most amount of context as to what's happening and what's going on and what's missing. Like nobody else knows everything that you do about you. And so I think this is important because it also helps you realize that at the end of the day you really are your best teacher, and a lot of times you're just looking for permission to start from other people, and that's why you spend so much time watching tutorials and like learning or like reading, when really the best thing that you can do is start taking some action. And so I hope that this video was helpful for you. If it was, then I think that you would like my book that I wrote. It's called Mastering the Middle, and it's now available on Amazon. This book is about the gap between the time that we set a desire and the time that we get our desire. And this gap between these two things I call the middle. And the middle is, or can be sometimes, a very confusing part of the journey if you don't know what you're dealing with and what to expect. The middle is not a passive time in our lives. It's not a time to sit back and relax and wait for your manifestation to fall from the sky. The middle is a very active time where a lot is happening internally, and there's a lot of changes that you have to navigate. And I think that this book is a great guide for people that feel like they're kind of stuck in the middle and they need a little bit of guidance. And so if that sounds interesting to you, then I will leave the link in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.